Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. The mighty general of the Shenzhou Alliance's Cloud Knights, Jing Yuan, has arrived to smite his enemies. In today's video, I'll provide you with the ultimate guide for mastering our favorite Lightning Lord dispenser. Jing Yuan is a pretty awesome DPS character, and not just based on his performance in combat, but more so based on his incredible visuals. It is so incredibly satisfying for his Lightning Lord to smash a giant sword from the heavens into our enemies to completely obliterate them. Lightning Lord, you say? Yeah, that's right. Honestly, Jing Yuan is basically a Pez dispenser for the mighty Lightning Lord. We're going to talk about his kit, some combos, relics, light cones, teams, and finally a bit on his Eidolons. Let's start off with the most important part of his kit, his talent, Prana Extirpated. Prana Extirpated summons a Lightning Lord, which is AI controlled and is an auto-attacking entity. As you can see on the left side in the turn order, it's going to be doing its own thing. It starts off with a pretty slow 60 base speed, and also it starts off with 3 stacks. When it's finally the Lightning Lord's turn to attack, it attacks a random target with each stack doing 57% of Jing Yuan's attack at level 8. This also deals 25% of the damage from the primary target to adjacent targets. The Lightning Lord can go up to 10 stacks, which means it's able to hit for a massive 570% multiplier if it has all 10 stacks. In order to gain stacks for the Lightning Lord, you can consume a skill point to use his skill, which provides the Lightning Lord 2 stacks, and you can use his ultimate, which provides the Lightning Lord 3 stacks. The Lightning Lord also gets faster when you provide it stacks, so that way it'll be able to attack a little sooner than later. Finally, after the Lightning Lord attacks, it goes back to its 60 speed 3 stack state. Oh yeah, and the Lightning Lord dispenser's skill and ultimate also hit all enemies on the field. So if there's a bunch of enemies on the field, Jing Yuan is great at doing some decent damage to all of them. In terms of talent priorities, I recommend leveling up his talent as high as you can, and then leveling up both his skill and ultimate. Oh right, he also has a basic attack which is easy to forget, but you can level that last whenever you get some spare resources. So if you can't tell, Jing Yuan wants to spam his skill and ultimate to build as many stacks on the Lightning Lord as possible. Per Lightning Lord rotation, ideally you want to use 2 of his skills and 1 of his ultimate to add 7 stacks to the Lightning Lord, thus giving the Lightning Lord a 10 stack wombo combo. And finally, thanks to his bonus ability, you're highly rewarded for getting 3 or more stacks on his Lightning Lord, as that will increase its crit damage by 25%. Jing Yuan's technique, Spirit Invocation, allows him to start the battle with 3 additional stacks on his Lightning Lord. This is nice for the first rotation, as minus Bronya, it is very difficult to get Jing Yuan to attack twice before his Lightning Lord's first attack. However, with some speed buffs, future rotations allow him to attack twice per Lightning Lord rotation some of the time. Let's go through some wombo combos with Jing Yuan. Start a fight with his technique, and now his Lightning Lord starts with 6 stacks. Then use his skill and ultimate, which brings his Lightning Lord up to 10 stacks, and watch in awe as it smashes its enemies. A no ultimate way to get a 10 stack combo right out the gate is the following. Start the fight with Jing Yuan's technique, then have Jing Yuan move before Bronya. Afterwards, Bronya uses her skill on Jing Yuan, and now Jing Yuan can use his skill twice. This allows Jing Yuan to quickly open up the fight with a 10 stack Lightning Lord and without using his ultimate. And for subsequent turns, Bronya is able to use her skill after Jing Yuan very consistently if you have her just underspeed him by a tiny bit. So yeah, the moral of the story is try your best to use his skill and ultimate as much as possible if your Lightning Lord isn't close to 10 stacks. This will maximize Jing Yuan's damage output. Let's talk about some additional important details. His Lightning Lord deals a lot of break damage to the enemy. As we can see in this clip, it's breaking Svarog as well as the robot on the right, but it's not breaking the hand thing on the left. Next, let's talk about his relics. Jing Yuan, being an attack scaling lightning character, clearly enjoys using the Band of Sizzling Thunder. Since you're always trying to spam his skill and ultimate, he'll be able to maintain its buff. If you don't have a good 4-set Sizzling Thunder, you can also run 2-piece Sizzling Thunder plus 2-piece Musketeers. Finally, you can consider the 4-piece Musketeers, or funnily enough, even the 4-piece Champion of Streetwise Boxing, but you definitely want to eventually farm the 4-piece Sizzling Thunder. For the stats, the chest piece should be crit rate or crit damage, whichever one helps him reach the 1-to-2 crit rate to crit damage ratio. And the boots, well, this is the classic debate of attack versus speed. Both of them are viable options, with each providing their own set of benefits. Next, we have the 2-piece set. Both the Inert Salsado and the Space Sealing Station are great options. Although notably, you'll probably need to run speed boots to get 120 speed in order to obtain this Space Healing Station's passive buff, or you can run a speed buffer like Ting Yuan's Eidolon 1 or Asta. You want a lightning damage sphere and an attack % link rope. For substats, it's the usual get as much crit as possible, and then some attack % and speed are nice to have. Next, let's talk about light cones. His signature light cone is clearly his best option. The best free-to-play option, in my opinion, is the Seriousness of Breakfast, which you can redeem from the Forgotten Hall light cone shop, and even get some dupes for it there as well. Night on the Milky Way is quite situational, but if you're able to frequently break the enemy and you're fighting a ton of enemies, then this is a great light cone. After that, I would say Today is Another Peaceful Day is probably the next best option, as Jing Yuan has a high 130 energy cost burst. Now let's talk about some team comps. When it comes to teams, Jing Yuan is a skill point hungry character. He wants to use his skill as often as possible in order to build up stacks on the Lightning Lord. However, because he's not built to be super fast like Seele as an example, he's not quite as skill point hungry. One really satisfying way to play Jing Yuan is a hyper carry playstyle. This is Jing Yuan plus a healer or shielder, and then 2 supports, preferably Bronya and or Ting Yuan. You'll be able to get a ton of 10-stack Lightning Lords with these two, and you have a bunch of buffs on him too. Speaking of buffs, the Lightning Lord, when it attacks, will also gain whatever buffs Jing Yuan has. This is a double-edged sword, as buffs that make him move instantly and only last for 1 turn, such as Bronya's skill and the Memory of Chaos buff, do not buff his Lightning Lord damage, because the Lightning Lord always moves after Jing Yuan, but if Jing Yuan is moving immediately, he will lose that 1-turn buff. However, it is still very worth using Jing, even with these abilities that make him go instantly, because by spamming his skill, you're able to add more stacks onto the Lightning Lord, which still does a ton more damage. Another great way to buff Jing's damage is to use your buffs on him before it's the Lightning Lord's turn. So yeah, we can see how Bronya plus Ting Yuan will be a devastating combo when paired with Jing Yuan. Jing Yuan is a ridiculously great lightning breaker, as everything he does breaks a lot of lightning with AoE on top of that, and his Lightning Lord breaks more lightning with more stacks. He's great as a flexible DPS, especially if you need to break lightning weak enemies. He'll work with pretty much any team archetype as long as you don't have too many skill point hungry characters on the same team. For example, the current gold standard of 2 defensive units in the Memory of Chaos plus 1 support with Jing Yuan works really well. As always though, Honkai Star Rail is a game where it's important to focus on countering enemy mechanics over pigeonholing yourself into just one team all the time. Next, let's take a look at his Eidolons. His Eidolon 1 is a solid Eidolon, increasing the Lightning Lord's overall damage output by 33% against 3 enemies, as it goes from a 150% total multiplier of his talent's multiplier to a 200% total multiplier. And his Eidolon 2 buffs his non-negligible non-Lightning Lord personal damage. His Eidolon 4 is great as it removes the energy issue problem of using 4 of his skills without any other energy source, being unable to fill up his ultimate. And his Eidolon 6 is the big one, as it increases the damage taken by the enemy by up to 36% for the entire team, although I'm not sure if this applies to the Lightning Lord's damage. Anyway, Eidolon 1 is a great boost to his damage against 3 targets, so if you do get it, it's a good one to have, and in my opinion, a good place to stop. Now, what was I personally able to accomplish with my E0S1 Jing Yuan? I was able to clear Memory of Chaos 9 second half with him, as he's an incredible DPS against Svarog and robots in general. He's also able to complete Memory of Chaos 10 first half with Clara as the second DPS. Now, it's worth noting that this Memory of Chaos buff is hugely beneficial to Jing Yuan, as he'll get a ton of free turns from it, especially if he has over 100 speed. Anyway, let me know what you think about Jing Yuan in the comments below, and if you have any valuable information that I missed here. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Want to Lose, signing out.